All right, we're monitoring, as we do every day, the White House briefing. Josh Earnest was just commenting on the possibility that Barack Obama will, before he leaves office, pardon some or all of the so-called dreamers, those who are illegally here. And oftentimes this refers to the children of illegals here, but whether they would be pardoned en masse. He does not expect, this is quoting Josh Earnest, to ram through any pardons at the last minute. There is an established process. He is referring to the process already in place to sort of screen illegals who are here right now and sort out the dangerous from the not so dangerous. I thought this would be a good moment to pick up on that theme with the former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer. Governor, that has been out there, as you know, that the president on his waning days, maybe his final day, pardons a whole bunch of illegals. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that it's wrong. I believe that we believe in the rule of law, and he ought to be the enforcer of the rule of law. I hope that Donald Trump, the president-elect, moves in and repeals his DACA program and his DAPA program and replaces it with whatever they come up with, the policy people, whatever they come up to. But we have got to get this illegal immigration under control.
Are you troubled then, Governor, when you see, and many of these could be courtesy visits, many of them just could be outreach on the part of the president-elect, when he meets with the mayor of New York, when he meets with Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, both sanctuary cities, big sanctuary cities, we're told aren't going to be reversing their positions, even under the potential threat of having federal funding pulled from them. What do you think of that, and does it trouble you?
Well, I think it's good that you reach out and you speak to everybody and you listen to what they have to say, but we know that sanctuary cities are wrong. It's against federal law. I personally had my state sued because we have no business, they say, dealing with immigration, and they named me in the lawsuit also. So, I mean, they can't have it both ways. Either they believe that we do have rights as states or we don't have rights as states, but they can't keep going back and forth. It's become such a game-playing issue that it's very disturbing. And I think that Mr. Trump, when he ran, he said that he was going to address that issue. We've dealt with it now for 30 years, and we need to begin somewhere. We need our border secured. We need to certainly get rid of the criminals in this state and all over the United States and the people that have overstayed their visas. And we are tired. We are tired of it.
You know, Governor, I know you've heard this before, but one of my favorite moments in your colorful gubernatorial history, because it's so unlike so many politicians who say one thing behind another politician's back but don't confront them head on. You did confront the president head on when he arrived in Arizona, and you had talked about how his positions and amnesty deals, or what you saw as amnesty, you said you had wanted to talk about securing our borders, and it looked in that famous image of you at the airport pointing your finger at the leader of the free world, was that you didn't care whether you'd be offended or you didn't buckle, and you weren't obviously afraid of the guy, but you gave him a piece of your mind. He simply doubled and tripled down on all of the above. Does that, in retrospect, trouble you? Because courts have since sided with you and not with him, and yet nothing has changed.
Exactly. It's an impossible situation dealing with the current federal administration, and it was unfair. They wouldn't even talk to us. They didn't even come to. President Obama never even visited the Arizona border, the gateway of illegal immigration into our country. And my taxpayers at that time were spending, $3 billion to absorb all the illegality.
Well, is that what you were telling him in that famous image, Governor? I mean, I always wanted to get the backstory on that, because you didn't have to greet him at the airport, and a lot of people wonder, well, the president's coming to your state, of course you greet him. You didn't have to do that because there were a lot of bad words between you guys, so a lot of people thought, oh my gosh, she's going to suck up to the guy when he arrives. Anything but. What happened there? How was that?
Well, I wanted to meet him at the airport. I wanted him to welcome to Arizona. I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk to him. I had written him a handwritten letter to give to him, hoping that he would at least read it and address some of the issues that we were facing and fighting here in Arizona. And I asked him if I could give him the letter. He said yes, and then he wanted to know what was in it, and I told him. And then we got into a discussion about the border and how he was depicted in my book, Scorpions for Breakfast. He didn't like it. I said, well, of my book was a truth-telling book, and none of the data in that book has ever been questioned. It's all correct, and they just wouldn't listen. They don't care. They want the borders open for a lot of various reasons.
Right.
And here I was whistling in the wind trying to get some help for our country. And I'm hopeful that President-elect Donald Trump will listen and have everybody at the table, and we can resolve
So you're not troubled,
the
Governor,
issues that we've all faced.
President-elect Trump might be backing off from some of that? It might not be a wall. It might be a fence. It might not be across the entire border. Some of the smoke signals bother you, or no?
I've always said that we needed our borders secured, whatever that takes and however it gets done. But our borders need to be secured, and we need to get rid of these sanctuary cities. And the President of the United States needs to go through Congress and change the laws. We believe in the rule of law. And President Obama did it by executive order, I think, which was unconstitutional and wrong. He was not emperor or king of the United States. And the people of America and President-elect Trump knows that, because certainly he came out and addressed it from the beginning, that was the #1 issue that he was going to bring up. And at the rallies, it was about, securing our borders. It was about securing our borders. And we've dealt with it for 30-some years, 40 years, Neil.
Yes, you did. It is one of my favorite moments, Governor. I know I bring it up, but now that I got the backstory on that, it has completed my picture here. I appreciate your taking the time.